Thanks so much, sir, for giving this beautiful lecture by comparing Buddhism and Lingayatism and similarities and about religions and about Baba Sahib Ambedkar and Baswana. And it knowledge gaining lecture, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now this session for open discussion, and it is you can ask anything for our guest speaker today.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you already told that you will talk in a short span of time, but it will be with big content. So similarly, we experienced. It is my second opportunity to hear you. First, I heard you in Department of Pali, and really it was a wonderful experience for me. This is the only lecture I understood completely in Kannada, sir. I'm very poor in Kannada, but that lecture I thoroughly understood, and really, sir, greatly. Some questions are there, sir. Regarding the some concept, even rebirth or life after death, these are really concepts associated with religion. So Baba Sahib also dealt these concepts in Buddha and in Dhamma also. So at one side there is a group of people or ascetics who believe in the permanent soul something, and another side is of the Uchchedvada, means who believe that there is nothing after death, only this birth is there and everything ends in the death. So I want to see where is exactly Basavanna in this.
Basavanna is almost near to the Uchchedavada. Yeah, because the moment a man dies, he goes to Bayalu. The matter dissolves into the space, because it is made up of 5 elements, he believes. That is just dissolved into space. That is Uchchedavada, nothing but Uchcheda. But the Buddha doesn't stop there. According to your karmas, you will be taking rebirths. So it is an ordeal of taking rebirths and many births, and ultimately attaining Nibbana.
Thank you, sir.
I am Dr. Vrishali Randhir from Pune. I am student of Pali language.
Oh, okay, doctor.
I want to ask about, sir, pictorial format of Shivalinga. It is somewhere some confusions are there in the minds of many people. Can you explain about that?
What is the confusion?
Sir, many people are giving explanation as per their views. And why this pictorial format is worshipped by so many people, means without any knowledge, they are not going to in depth what exactly it is.
Yeah. Even Basavanna doesn't explain about the pictorial part of it. I think it was already existing there. The picture of phalas is a matter of life. It symbolizes the creation. The linga is a combination of the phalas and yoni. You can, in total picture, you can find it. So it's a symbol of creation, which he must have agreed. This is what popular belief is there.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
me, Siddharth.
Sir, one very different type of question. What we observe, particularly in Maharashtra, there are so many friends of mine. I have seen, I know so many Lingayat people. But what I observe here is what Lingayatism you just explained is very close to Buddhism. Okay, but what we observe here in Maharashtra, all their rituals and everything, they're more inclined toward Hinduism, and particularly in their marriages and all, they follow every rituals as per the Hinduism. Is it the same in Karnataka? And if not, then what actually is lacking?
More so in Karnataka. More so. Because they follow. See, there is a Veerashaivism. I have told in the beginning that there is Veerashaivism in Karnataka, which are the followers of Shiva. The Shaivism and Veerashaivism. They are still. So these people have come from outside after Basava, and they have amalgamated Veerashaivism into Lingayatism and called, because of the total populations, and they wanted to have their caste to be. It's one of the castes of. It has become a caste. Even Veerashaivism, they call themselves as they don't call as a different religion, but it's one of the castes of Karnataka. There is a tussle between two groups in Karnataka. One is calling Basavaites, we are different religion, and the other group is calling no, it is both are same. Basava is one of the gurus. There are two mutts. The Veerashaiva mutts are the Virakta mutt and Jangava. Some mutt like that. There are two groups here also. Followers of Basavanna call themselves Viraktas and have an identity of Lingayatism. They fought for it. The matter is in the court, and they keep on applying to central government to consider it as a religion and all that. There is a political reason behind it. But Basava religion is totally different because, as I have explained, he opposes all the tenets of Vedic religion. It doesn't accept anything. Caste system, Varna system. As I have explained, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Nice listening to you. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. May I?
Please tell me.
Hello, sir. This is Ashwini, PhD scholar from Central University of Karnataka, Kalburgi. So, my question is, PhD scholar from Central University of Karnataka, Kalburgi.
Okay.
So, my question is, sir, in the era of saffronism, ದಲಿತರಿಗೆ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಬಹಿಷ್ಕಾರ ಹಾಕುವರು ಭಾಗಶಃ ಲಿಂಗಾಯತರೇ ಇರುವಾಗ ಬಸವಣ್ಣನವರಿಂದ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿತರಾದ ಲಿಂಗಾಯತರಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಸಮ ಸಮಾಜವನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟುವಂತಹ ಕನಸುಗಾರರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್, ನಿಮ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ?
See, Lingayats by denomination are not Lingayats. They are not many of them are not followers of Basavanna. They are Veerashaivas. So they want to assert themselves as upper caste people, and naturally most of them are feudals. They have everything at their disposal, but they want the free service from Dalits. They don't want Sama Samaja, the equal society. They want equality to be there. So this is the ill of the society. There should be somebody, the government or the state should take it seriously and see to it that our constitution says ours is an equal society. There is no reason to allow it as it is. Even because the state is also casteist. You know that. The upper caste rule.
Yes,
The
sir.
country for the last 73 years, they have never given power to Dalits. And now we should take it. All of us should become Buddhists and claim our equality. The Lingayats, some
Yes.
Lingayats are there. There are progressive Lingayats and there are traditional Lingayats. They are oppressors. The upper caste oppressors are there. But we can't keep quiet, no. We have to fight back. There should be unity among Dalits. There should be organization. First of all, Dalits themselves, Gulbarga is okay. Kalburgi district and my district, Chamarajnagar, they are all progressive. Many have converted to Buddhism. And whatever the central part of Karnataka and other places you see, they are still in darkness. Dalits themselves, not leave alone the Lingayites. Dalits, in spite of Ambedkar, in spite of Buddha, they are still going to the Brahmins. Their housewarming ceremony is initiated with Satyanarayana Puja. Are we not ashamed of it? See, we should realize ourselves. And Baba Sahib has given us everything. We have some education now. We should think about it. Why should we be subordinate to somebody? To spiritually. And Basavana is very clear about it. There shouldn't be any middleman between God and man. He believes in God, but he doesn't invite anybody in the middle. ತನ್ನ ಊಟವ ತಾನೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ತನ್ನ ರತಿ ಸುಖವನ್ನು ತಾನೇ ಪಡೆಯಬೇಕು, ತನ್ನಾಶ್ರಯದ ರತಿ ಸುಖವನ್ನು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ವಚನ. ತಾನುಂಬುವ ಊಟವನ್ನು ತಾನಲ್ಲದೆ ಇತರರು ಮಾಡುವುದಂತೆ. What a beautiful saying it is. See, we can't enter something personal which is, considered to our inner self. Can't entrust it to somebody else. That's what Basavana says. That's what Buddha says. There's no middleman. We have to think about it. We who are depressed, downtrodden, who are at the bottom level, why should we be there? We should come out. If you are there in that fold, you will still be in the bottom of the society. So, and Baba Sahib is very clear. Unless you come out of that fold, you cannot progress. He says very, very in clear terms. But still we are there and try to clamor that no, people are treating us like, why should we there? It's not their fault. It's to be with self-respect is our, we should try to come out and establish ourselves. Dignity is the God to us. There is no dignity in that place, and why are you staying? Samasamaja will be there only when we are enlightened ourselves, our basic rights, when we assert our rights. And when we follow Ambedkar, when we follow Buddha, we will be human beings. Otherwise, we are slaves to the caste system. You got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. May I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
Thank you so much, sir. You said very correctly that without Bhagwan Buddha and Ambedkar, Baba Sahib, we are just like a slave. But in real life, if you see that proudly that I am a Buddhist follower and I am from the caste where Baba Sahib has taken a lot of effort, people look at us in a very different way. May it be corporate culture, may it be like, we go into industry. So that discrimination is still there because people don't want to accept the fact that Bhagwan Buddha or Baba Sahib thoughts are scientific and progressive. So that everywhere we are facing this discrimination. So thank you very much. Sir, my question is little different. This is from the Abhidhamma. Like you have explained very well in the difference between reincarnation and rebirth. So my question is like in rebirth, once the body gets destroyed, once a sattva get destroyed, the five skandhas goes back to the 5 element, and again when rebirth happens, the sattva comes into again rebirth. So where the kammas from the last previous birth or previous to previous birth, where the life basically. So where where does this Kamma lives and how they get attached to the again new birth. So this is my question, sir.
No, as I understand, what's your name?
Sorry, my name is Praveen Tade. I am from Pune, sir. I am a student of Pali University of Pune.
Praveen, what I understand is, Buddha says there is rebirth, punarbhava. It is not punarjanma. It's not reincarnation. It is rebirth. So punarbhava means, you just imagine that we are breathing. The life exists in us because we are breathing, right? So the breath, which is, traveling between the nose and the lungs, it is just, from the birth till the death, it just suspended in between, between the nose and the lungs. You can imagine that. When it goes out, it has to perch on some destination, isn't it? Don't you think so? I think Buddha thought in this way, what I understand. This particular breath, which is inside a living being, the life goes out when it goes out. So that piece of breath, it has to go and perch on something else. It has a destination. So where it's the destination, Buddha says, it is not the whole body is not going to recreate. It will not be recreated. My own body is not recreated. It's somebody else's body, maybe. Not with the same components, from different components of different people. So the life goes and catches up there. Not with the previous encumbrances, the remembrances. It goes there. That chitta, it's a very vast subject. That chuti chitta, they say, the last, the moment, the fraction of the moment, the chitta, what it comes to the mind, that carries something. So it's a fresh, Buddha has given a wonderful, you are just lighting a candle. You are lighting a candle, another candle. The light is there. It is not its own, nor it's not even borrowed. Understood? It's neither borrowed, nor its own. Buddha explains punarbhava like this. So it goes on giving light continuously on its own till it's burnt out. You understand this? This is a very, very complicated subject. Takes some, you have to again and again read Buddha and Ambedkar. But after reading this Richard Dawkins, there is a gene. There is a book called, I have a that gene has no death. There's no death at all. It goes on living. Then I thought, what Buddha thought at that time only is almost correct. The gene remembers everything. There's some character, some trait. So a child's behavior can be linked to his forefathers or parents. But that gene is there. Maybe this, I think this analogy I have given, the breath and the light of the candle, you will agree with me. I think this much is enough.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, my question was the same. Like, if I want to understand more in Abhidhamma, do you see any good book which is very in simple language and which you must have gone through? Like, do you recommend any book on Abhidhamma wherein we can detail study more about this Punarbhava?
Mr. Praveen.
Vishuddhi Magga is there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Narada
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, I need to ask something, sir. Sir, I'm Shilanjali from Gulbarga University and PhD scholar, sir. So, I need to ask this. I have read a few books about this rebirth and this reconciliation about that. Sir, where I have read that after dying, the soul will go in the eternal space where it will stay, and as you said now, and it will take birth in another body, but remembrance will be not there.
No.
So I was agree with that. And in another dilemma, as Buddha.
Yes. Network bandwidth is low. Yes. Shailanjali.
Sir, Buddha has to birth, and he reached at the stage of eternal, like we'll call it as nibbana or like eternal stage. He can't birth in the next generation. Like, is that true that again Buddha will take place in coming days?
Buddha himself has said, when Khema, you know the story of Khema? The Pasenadi meets Khema, and he questions her after meeting her that whether Buddha existed previously, or he is going to exist in the next birth. And she says he has not answered these questions. And he comes back, Pasenadi comes back to Buddha, again he asks the same questions. So Buddha says the same things. No, I have not answered these questions. So the beautiful answers Khema gives, if you go to a ocean and take some clerk and ask him to measure calculate the sands, how can he calculate? Or ask him to take a meter, or go deep into the ocean, ask him to take the length of it. Is it possible? It's not possible, she says. Khema says like that. And Buddha also gives the same questions. He doesn't answer. Whichever is not comprehensible, whichever is not clear to him, he never answered. He said he kept silent. There is no soul, as you earlier said. There is no. He very clearly says there is no soul, and it's the principle of physics. There is nothing. Nothing exists without a compound things. Two elements should combine together to establish a thing. It's very scientifically he proves that. So there is no single entity called soul. He's very clear about it.
Okay, sir.
I'm Kavita here. I had one question.
Tell me, madam.
What are the causes of destruction of this Lingayat religion as such, and which circumstance?
The Brahminism, it's very obvious. The Brahmins of the time, they have come together and took the matter to Bijala, the king of Kalachuri. And he was in favor of Basavanna in the beginning, and he slowly started shifting. And, it ends up with Madhuvarasa's daughter and Haralaya's son's marriage. They don't want it to happen. Both of them agree. That was the beginning of bringing up equal society. He started then only. So they have conspiracy created all that, and before the king they were punished. They were punished very heavily. They are tied to the elephant's leg, and they were dragged through the streets. Such was the Elehute, they say. The Haralaya and Madhuvarasa were punished like that, and both these kids, the marrying youths, they were dragged outside and they were also punished. That's how that came to an end, and there was a very big revolution. Revolution in the sense they have chased these all progressive people. They have bundled up their vachanas and went to different sides, different directions. Basavana himself went to Kalyana, the Udala Sangama. So this is the story which ended like that. This fundamentalist, the Brahmins, they wanted this caste system and the hierarchy should be in place. They always do that, at Buddha's time was also, the story of Shankaracharya or the Pushyamitra Shringa when Ratha was killed by him, a Brahmin soldier. And they have killed people just to keep this. Otherwise, India would have been something different, in the world. Because of inequalities and caste system, we are like this, but nobody understands, nobody speaks about it. Because at the helm of affairs, only those people are there. They don't want to talk about caste, but still they say this is a very great country, great culture, great heritage. The great country and great heritage because of Buddha, and it was excavated by the British. It was Ashoka's period. The great period was Ashoka's period. Do you know all these innovations, scientific innovations, and art, culture, everything was in Buddhist time. Whatever they say that we have these great achievements and all that, they were all in the Nalanda Takshashila University. They have taken place. There was no system of combined study of all people. It was only a few Brahmins they were studying in Gurukulas. How do they excel themselves? They were chanting Vedas. But the knowledge of all disciplines were taught and developed in universities like Nalanda and Takshashila. It's a great time, great culture. But that was destroyed. These people never wanted it. They wanted only caste system to be intact. What a sad state of affairs, a sad story. And we are like this. Over thousands of years, a big chunk of people are kept as slaves, not given education, not given food, even for working. They were harassed. What kind of societies we inherit? It was till 300 BC. It was good. Later on, when this has taken over, the Vedic culture, the Brahminism, and then Hinduism, the society started deteriorating. When you don't respect people, what will happen? So the youth should to realize all these things. That they should try to change the society. They should change themselves. Not get fear. There shouldn't be any fear of God. There is nothing like God or something. It's all for their own selfish purposes. They've been telling this. Hope you understood. Yes, Dr. Dhammadeep, it's over.
Yes, sir. I think there are no more questions now. Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. Thank you. We will go for.
All of you are happy. I hope.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really, it was a great treat for all of us. After Dhammapalan Gatha, we will conclude, sir.
Okay.
I may request Mr. Praveen Sable, sir, to offer vote of thanks.
Yes, Dhammadev, sir. Shall I go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah, Jai Bhim all. Myself, Praveen Sable, on behalf of the organizers of the Vesaka lecture series, I would like to thank Dr. Munna Kudu Chinnaswamy for delivering such a wonderful lecture for today's evening. We are grateful for the time and the effort you took to do the comparative study or the comparison between the Basavanna philosophy, the Vachanas, and the Buddhism. To mention some of them, I would say both presented them as a guru and never presented them as a messenger of God or the God themselves. The similarity between the Anubhav Mandapa or the House of Experience and the Sangha. How the Nibbana becomes the Vanyanu in the Basava philosophy. It's a big content, but however, you in respect of time, you have handled it very nicely, sir. Thanks for that. Yeah, thank you, sir. Apart from that, I would like to thank Shivanjali Bhalerao for hosting this event. Then Suresh Badijar Kalburgi for the Trisaran Panchshil, Ashwini Bhadri for introduction of the speaker, and Dhammadeep Wankede sir and his team for organizing this lecture for us. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all our participants, rather the scholars, for attending this lecture and asking the valuable questions over here. Yeah, thank you all. You can
Thank
take
you very
over.
much. Thank you. Thank you, very kind of you. Thank you, Dr. Dhammadeep. Shall I leave?
Sir, Dhammapalan Gatha.
Sabbapapass akaranam kusalassa upasampada sachitta paryodapanam etang buddhana sasanam dhammang chare sucharitam natang ducharitam Dhammachari sukhaṃ seti asmi loke param micha natavata dhammadharo yavata bahubhasati yocha apampi suttvana dhammam kayena passati Save dhammadharo hoti yo dhammam nappamajjati natti me saranam ayam buddho me saranam varam etena sajjavajjena hotu me jaya mangalam natti me saranam ayam dhammo me saranam varam etena sajjavajjena hotu me jaya mangalam natti me saranam ayam Sangho me saranam varam etena sajjavajjena hotu me jaya mangalam नमो बुद्धाय नमो धम्माय नमो संघाय साधु साधु साधु।
Thank you so much, Suresh Badge, for Dhammapalan Gatha.
Yes.
And thank you everyone.
थैंक यू एवरीबॉडी। कल हमारा टॉपिक है इसी टाइम में पाली साहित्य में जाति व्यवस्था का खंडन, और कल के वक्ता है डॉक्टर जयवंत खंडारे। ये डेवलपमेंट ऑफिसर है पाली प्रोजेक्ट सेंट्रल संस्कृत यूनिवर्सिटी में। तो एवरीबॉडी, सभी आप वेलकम है कल के स्पीच के लिए भी। थैंक यू
सर।